Today, I'm formally issuing a new presidential policy directive to improve how we work to bring home American hostages and how we support their families. I've signed a new executive order to ensure our government is organized to do so. And we're releasing the final report of our review. Which describes the 24 specific steps that we're taking. Broadly speaking, they fall into 3 areas. First, I'm updating our hostage policy. I'm making it clear that our top priority is the safe and rapid recovery of American hostages. And to do so, we will use all elements of our national power. I am reaffirming that the United States government will not make concessions. Such as paying ransom to terrorist groups holding American hostages. And I know this can be a subject of significant public debate. It's a difficult and emotional issue, especially for the families. As I said to the families who are gathered here today, and as I've said to families in the past. I look at this not just as a president, but also as a husband and a father. And if my family were at risk, obviously I would move heaven and earth to get those loved ones back. As president, I also have to consider our larger national security. I firmly believe that the United States government paying ransom to terrorists risks endangering more Americans and funding the very terrorism that we're trying to stop. And so I firmly believe that our policy ultimately puts fewer Americans at risk. At the same time, we are clarifying that our policy does not prevent communication with hostage takers by our government. The families of hostages, or third parties who help these families. And, when appropriate, our government may assist these families and private efforts in those communications in part. To ensure the safety of family members and to make sure that they're not defrauded. So my message to these families was simple: we're not going to abandon you. We will stand by you. Second, we're making changes to ensure that our government is better organized around this mission. Every department that is involved in our national security apparatus cares deeply about these hostages. Prioritizes them and works really hard. But they're not always as well coordinated as they need to be. Under the National Security Council here at the White House, we're setting up a new hostage response group. Comprised of senior officials from across our government who will be responsible for ensuring that our hostage policies are consistent and coordinated and implemented rapidly and effectively. And they will be accountable at the highest levels. They'll be accountable to me. Soon I'll be designating, as well, a senior diplomat as my special presidential envoy for hostage affairs. Who will be focused solely on leading our diplomatic efforts with other countries to bring our people home. At the operational level, we're creating for the first time one central hub where experts from across government will work together. Side by side, as one coordinated team to find American hostages and bring them home safely. In fact, this fusion cell, located at the FBI, is already up and running. and we're designating a new official in the intelligence community to be responsible for coordinating the collection, analysis and rapid dissemination of intelligence related to American hostages so we can act on that intelligence quickly. Third, and running through all these efforts, we are fundamentally changing how our government works with families of hostages. Many of the families told us that they at times felt like an afterthought or a distraction, that too often, the law enforcement or military and intelligence officials they were interacting with were begrudging. In giving them information. And that ends today. I'm making it clear that these families are to be treated like what they are, our trusted partners and active partners in the recovery of their loved ones. We are all on the same team, and nobody cares more about bringing home these Americans than their own families. And we have to treat them as partners. So, specifically, our new fusion cell will include a person dedicated to coordinating the support families get from the government. This coordinator will ensure that we communicate with families better. With one clear voice, and that families get information that is timely and accurate. Working with the intelligence community, we will be sharing more intelligence with families. And this coordinator will be the family's voice within government, making sure that when decisions are made about their loved ones, their concerns are front and center. Everyone who deals with these families on a regular basis will be given additional Training to ensure families are treated with the dignity and compassion that they deserve. In particular, I want to point out that no family of an American hostage has ever been prosecuted for paying a ransom for the return of their loved ones. The last thing that we should ever do is to add to a family's pain with threats like that. So the bottom line is this: when it comes to how our government works to recover Americans, held hostage and how we work with their families, we are changing how we do business. After everything they've endured, these families are right to be skeptical. And that's why it's so important, as I told them today, that we will be setting up mechanisms to ensure accountability and implementation. I've directed my national security team to report back to me. Including getting feedback from the families to make sure that these reforms are being put in place and that they are working. And in the course of our review, several families told us they wanted to spare other families the frustrations they endured. Some have even created new organizations to support families like theirs or to honor their loved ones. Such as the Memorial Foundation for Stephen Sotloff, who wrote, "Everyone has two lives." The second one begins when you realize you only have one. As a government, and as a nation, we can learn from the example and the strength of their lives, the kind of strength we've seen in all these held hostages, including Kayla Mueller. Kayla devoted her life to serving those in need around the world. To refugees in Syria who had lost everything, she was a source of comfort and hope. Before her tragic death, she was held by ISIL in Syria for a year and a half. And during her captivity, Kayla managed to smuggle a letter to her family. She said, "None of us could have known it would be this long, but I know I am also." Fighting from my side in the ways that I am able, and I have a lot of fight left in me. I am not breaking down, and I will not give in no matter how long it takes. Today, my message to anyone who harms Americans is that we do not forget. Our reach is long. Justice will be done. My message to every American being held unjustly around the world. Who is fighting from the inside to survive another day, my message to their families who long to hold them once more. Is that the United States of America will never stop working to reunite you with your family. We will not give up no matter how long it takes. Thank you very much, everybody. Barack Obama. Howard University Commencement Address. Delivered May 7, 2016, Washington, D. C. To President Frederick, the Board of Trustees, faculty, and staff. Fellow recipients of honorary degrees, thank you for the honor of spending this day with you. And congratulations to the class of 2016. 4 years ago, back when you were just freshmen. I understand many of you came by my house the night I was re-elected. To the parents, the grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, all the family and friends who stood by this class. Cheered them on, helped them get here today. This is your day, as well. Let's give them a big round of applause, as well. I'm not trying to stir up any rivalries here, I just want to see who's in the house. We got quad. I know you're all excited today. You might be a little tired, as well. Some of you were up all night making sure your credits were in order. Some of you stayed up too late, ended up at Ho Chi at 2 a.m. Got some mambo sauce on your fingers. But you got here. And you've all worked hard to reach this day. You've shuttled between challenging classes and Greek life. You've led clubs, played an instrument or a sport. You volunteered. You interned. You held down 1, 2, maybe 3 jobs. You've made lifelong friends and discovered exactly what you're made of. The Howard hustle has strengthened your sense of purpose and ambition. Which means you're part of a long line of Howard graduates. Some are on this stage today. Some are in the audience. That spirit of achievement and special. Responsibility has defined this campus ever since the Freedmen's Bureau established Howard Just. "4 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, just 2 years after the Civil War came to an end. They created this university with a vision of uplift. A vision for an America where our fates would be determined not by our race, gender, religion, or creed. but where we would be free in every sense to pursue our individual and collective dreams.